12 years old and always was afraid of a monster hiding under her bed. She stopped looking only a few days ago because she was always afraid of looking into a monster's eyes. She used to tell people but stopped as she knew they would tell her that she shouldn't worry about such ridiculous things. Suddenly one night Nora was trying to get to sleep, but she was tossing and turning. She heard noises from under her bed and she decided to take a look. When she did, she saw her father that she had drugged a few days ago gone a very pale colour. It was now time to kill the monster she knew. Her father's eyes opened in horror as she got out a knife and slit his throat. Then she was relieved that the monster under her bed was dead. Weeks later, the body was found, and Nora was nowhere to be found. Suddenly, the case took an unexpected twist. Years earlier, there were a whole family murdered by a little girl, and she was found crying, clutching onto a doll. Some people say the doll was possessed. One detective was surprised to learn the story because he remembered the doll in the room. When he went back to the room, he looked at the doll, but what happened next made him freeze in fear, as the doll wasn't the same doll he had seen. The doll was a miniature version of Nora. He thought it was some sick prank until her eyes blinked. Jessie and her friend Kayla were at home watching a horror movie when they started talking about the local legend, Slender Man. Jessie was saying, "Slender Man is real. He isn't just a made-up character." Kayla said, "Do you really expect me to believe you that a 10-foot tin man is real and you have seen him? Why didn't you take a photo of him with your phone then?" Jessie was getting annoyed and gave Kayla an angry look and said, "Okay, you don't believe me? Well, I can take you to the woods tomorrow to meet a friend of mine which will prove Slender Man is real." Kayla replied, "Okay, you're on." The next night Jessie and Kayla went out to the woods. They were walking down the woods when they saw a box with "First Clue" written on it. Jessie asked Kayla to see what was inside. Kayla said, "I suppose you think I'm afraid to open it." Then she opened it and retrieved a map where to go, looking for the next clue. As they walked about 10 minutes deep into the woods, they came across the next clue, which was another box. Kayla opened it again, and there was a map which apparently would lead them to the proof of Slender Man. As they walked towards where the map led them, there was a very high tree with a box hanging from it, saying "Proof." Kaylee said to Jessie, "There's no way I'm climbing that tree." Jessie said, "Turn around and close your eyes for 5 seconds. Then you can turn back around again and open them." Kayla said, "What are you playing at?" Jessie said, losing her patience, "Do you want to see the proof of Slender Man or not?" Kayla turned around and counted to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When she turned back, Jessie had the box next to her on the ground. Kayla asked her, "How did you climb way up there so fast? And what about this friend of yours you promised you'd show me? Where is he or she? Show me the proof of Slender Man being real. You told me your friend would show me the proof of Slender Man being real. How long do I have to wait to see the proof?" Let me answer your first question first. and the second after, Jessie said. First, I didn't climb the tree, and the answer to your second question is, my friend is over there, and he is the one who picked the box from the tree. Jessie pointed over towards the trees, and Kayla screamed when she saw the Slender Man. Thanks for watching The Assassin Rapper, and if you enjoy the content, then make sure to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of new content. Dave was walking through the woods at 10 p.m. when he thought he heard a noise in the bushes. He looked around and saw no one, but he sensed there was someone watching him. He never walked into the woods more than a mile, because everyone that knew the woods knew that it could take hours, if not days, to find your way out the further you went in. It was like a maze after a while. He continued to walk on when suddenly two people in black jumped out of the bushes in front of him and held a gun to his head. They said, "Don't move and you won't get hurt. Me and my friend here have a little game we like to play. It's called The Hunt. You, my friend, will be human prey. We are going to give you a head start of 10 minutes. And me and my friend here are going to hunt you down. And if we find you before midnight, then we will shoot you, of course, and you will be dead. But just for the slightest chance of you surviving past midnight or escaping these woods, then you are free to go. Even if we spot you after midnight, you will be free to go. You will have your freedom." Dave was shocked at what the man just said and was about to walk back from the woods so he could leave, but the man said, "Do you think we are stupid? You are not allowed to go that way. You're only meant to go deep into the woods, and don't think about coming back. We have dozens of more people on the lookout in case you decide to leave the easy way. But don't worry, it's just me and Bert here who will be hunting you down when you go that way deep into the woods. You ready to go, boy?" Dave said, "I'll go, but please don't kill me," and Dave ran and ran. 10 minutes later, the men followed him. Dave luckily knew of a great hiding spot that hardly no one knew except himself and his son, who unfortunately was murdered just a few weeks ago. Dave hid in a small little cave that was hidden by trees that he hoped the men didn't know of. Luckily, Dave spent most of the time there, and when he got out at 2 minutes to midnight, he exited the cave to be greeted by the two men holding the guns right to him. One man said, "Hey there, boy, did you really think we would be stupid enough to not know about that little cave there? And do you know there is still 2 minutes left? That is plenty time for us to shoot and kill you. And guess what? That is exactly what we are going to do." Dave lifted a rock, blocking his face as the men shot him several times in the chest. Dave fell down. The men walked over to watch him die. They looked down and said, "You were such an easy prey." Dave smiled up at them. The men wondered why he was smiling after being shot several times. One man asked, "What's so funny?" Dave said, "Ever hear of bulletproof vests?" Then he pulled a rope and a trap fell over the two men. Then Dave said, "That boy you hunted down and killed a few weeks ago was my son, and I could have killed ye back then, but I wanted to hunt ye bastards when ye were hunting your prey, which unluckily for ye was me." Within seconds, Dave turned into a werewolf at midnight, which he knew he always did every single night there was a full moon, and he chose tonight to be the night he would wander down the road knowing that they would try their luck at finding prey. He prayed that they would be looking for prey tonight. As he turned into the werewolf, he released the trap and bit their leg, hand and arm off, watching them squirm in pain. Then he said, "I was your prey, but now let me pray for ye. Now I lay ye down to sleep. I pray to the devil your soul to keep. When ye should die in this place of doom, I pray the devil keeps ye a very hot room." And then, within seconds, they were dead. Okay, my family are rich, and with us being rich, we can do a lot more activities than the average person. So because we are spoiled with so many options, my family are always at a loss for what activity we should do next. And so we let the monsters in the forest vote for us. So for example, a couple of months ago, my family didn't know which holiday to go on. So we rounded up about 20 animals from our farm and sprayed some colour on them, with each colour representing a holiday. We divided the animals into 4 groups of 5 and led them into the forest. Then it was my turn to shoot out into the forest. We are not sure which holiday to go on, so choose for us. We found that all of the sheep were killed with an X mark etched onto them, and they were with the blue mark. Blue represented Dubai, and so we went to Dubai for a week. Then yesterday my mother shouted out to all of us when she thought she saw someone trespassing into our property. My father went out with a gun, and then he saw a couple of thugs running into the forest. When my father gave some shots into the air, each thug was wearing a different coloured top. My father looked back at us and said, "Blue top is full English breakfast. Green top is a vegetarian English breakfast. Orange top is going out to a cafe for breakfast." He then shouted into the forest, "I can't decide what kind of breakfast I should have, so vote for me." And then we heard one of the men scream. It was the man with the orange top who was found bleeding on the floor with an X mark on his body. "It looks like we're all going out to a cafe for breakfast," my father told us.